Hi everyone, this is Miss Mary from Manhasset Library, and today we are going to do our fall Halloween cityscape. It is cool. So you guys all have your packets. So you should have your paper, your paints. And then you need to have water, a paper plate or something. I have a plastic plate for your paints, some brushes. I put one brush in your packet, but if you have other brushes, I use this sponge brush for the background. That's what I'm going to use. And I have plastic on this table. You probably don't have plastic, but cover it with newspaper or something. Protect it. And try and protect your clothes too. Some of the paint is acrylic and it's not very easily washed. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take a pencil and take any circular shape. This is the top from some bottle. I don't know what it is. Any circle, the top of a bottle, a glue stick, anything really. And we're just going to trace the shape of it to make our moon very quickly. Just trace it so you know where you're going. And then take a sponge brush or any big brush. I'm using a sponge brush, but any bigger brush. And the blue paint, this paint. And you might have to add a little bit of water. That's okay. And then paint around the shape that you just drew. Now this doesn't have to be perfect at all. Just like that, just paint around the shape. So it looks like the moon. And keep doing that. If you want, you can tape down your paper to the table. I didn't. Whatever you want to do. So you just paint around in circles like this. In that kind of movement. Don't go like this across the paper. Keep going around in circles. And the whole idea is you're going to cover your paper. Well, you don't really have to cover it, but get most of it. So you keep going around in circles, and you can see how it's really quick. And your buildings are going to be down here on this part of it, so you don't really have to get the paint all the way down there. I need more paint. Okay. So you cover it pretty quickly. Now you'll see how I have paint on the table. That's why you need to protect it. And then when you have it mostly covered with blue, go into a little bit of black with the same brush. And put the black in the corners, like right on the edges like that. So it looks like it's darker on the outside. And it sort of blends into the blue. You need to get this corner. You can get it as dark as you want to at the edges, but don't get it too dark. Otherwise it'll just look too gloomy, right? You don't want that. And if you want to blend it a little bit more, just rinse off your brush with water, dry it a little bit. Or you can use another brush and just blend it in a little bit. And then you're going to leave this to dry for a little while. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to let it dry. And then we'll come back and add the buildings. Okay guys, we're back. I think it's dry. So everyone has this template that I put into your packet. So this is going to be the black buildings, the ones that are down at the bottom. So you can just place that down at the bottom of the paper like this and trace it. So these are going to be the buildings that are in the foreground. So they're going to be black, and then we're just going to hand draw a couple of other ones that will be grayer because they will look like they are further back. And you guys have black paint and white paint, so you just make two grays by mixing them. Make a light gray, like with a lot of white, and then another gray. So there's, it's hard to see, but I've drawn around it. And then just by hand, I'm going to draw in a couple of buildings that are going to be a lighter gray. Maybe that one. So they're all going to look a little bit different. You really just put in whatever kind of buildings you want. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm going to put a darker one. Not too many. Okay. And then we're going to paint the lightest gray ones first. I have some light gray right here. When you take whatever brush you have, I have like a flat one, and just cover in that building. The reason you do the light gray first is the black will cover up any little mistakes or anything you make on the light gray ones. Okay, so that's one light gray. And this one. I'm doing this a little bit quickly because I don't want this video to take forever. But you can do it slower, and you can watch this over and over again. Let me see, that one right there. Okay. And now I'm just gonna rinse my brush, and we'll do the darker gray. So that will be this one. And this one right here. Now these don't really look like buildings yet. They won't until we put the windows in them. That's the last part, the most fun part too. I think that's enough of that gray. And then all the rest is black. So if you have a big brush like this one, you can do that. You can even use the foam brush that we use in the background because it's a lot of black. That just needs to get covered. And you can use a smaller brush then to get the edges and the corners. You see, you can start anywhere really. But the big brush really covers well and won't take forever to just get it done. And the areas that are close to the gray, it might get a little, no, it didn't really. Sometimes the gray will go into the black. If you want, you can let the gray dry for a couple of minutes. That will solve that problem. I'm not going to let it dry. I'm going right into it. And it's usually okay. In any areas that are not, you can go back over it with the black when it dries and just fix it. Now you do this slower. I'm doing it really quick, but you can do it slower. And you can stop this video and replay it anytime you want. how quickly this is going? It really doesn't take long. Now you can make different building shapes too. You really can do whatever you want with this. Your buildings don't have to look like mine. And we're almost done with this black. Now your paper might start to buckle a little bit like mine is, but don't worry about it. Once it's all dry, it'll go back to the same flat shape again. See how my table's getting really messy? That's why it's so important to have plastic or newspaper or something on your table to protect it, so your mom doesn't get mad at you. Okay, we're almost done. And then once this is done, there we go. So you can draw it from this, or if you want to cut it out and then trace it, you could do that too. So I'm going to draw, I drew 2 of them already for time. So I'm just going to draw one more, and bats are pretty easy to draw. You don't have to stick to the one I gave you. You can do another type of bat if you want. 1, 2, 3, I have 3. I'm not sure if you can see them. You can see that white one maybe. That one right there. You can see that one. And then I'll draw a couple of smaller ones. But for now, I'm just going to paint them with a small brush. Or if you guys want, you can actually use a black marker, like a Sharpie, if that's easier. But the brush is pretty easy. It's important to let everything dry in between each step, so you don't make a mess, basically. I need to add more water. One. And we need one here by the moon. If your paint starts to get dry, like mine is, add some more water. Because if it's too dry, it's just hard to get the paint to move. And that's no fun. I'm just going to do one more. This, adding the final details like this is the most fun part. Adding the bats, and then we're going to put in the white windows so the buildings look like buildings. It's fun. Okay, I think that's enough, the big ones. And then to do smaller ones that are further away, really you just do like a little Y shape, almost like just a bird flying, like that. Just like that. There it is. See it? Now I'll do one up here. Maybe one here. And that's enough. And then rinse off your brush, because I'm going to use the same brush, at least for some of the white paint in the windows. So you can use bigger brushes and smaller brushes, because the windows are going to be all different shapes. And now when you look at the skyline of Manhattan or any other city, not at nighttime, not all the lights are on everywhere, so don't put little perfect white boxes everywhere, because that's not the way it looks. Some of them are on, they're all different shapes. There might be some at the top of the building and none at the bottom. That's just the way it looks. So that's how we're going to do it. Okay, I'm going to start here. I think I'll do, this building can have long windows. That brush is not doing it very well. Oops, I got my brush. Okay. So really just put a little white to make it look like a window. And keep them underneath each other, but you don't have to put in every single window. Okay, and then for this building, I'm going to do smaller, more squared windows. And then this window here can have long windows going the other way. So you see how you really can do whatever you want, and this is the way it's going to look. And this building here, I guess I'll give it big windows. See, so I'm not drawing like perfect little rectangular windows, because if the lights are not on in a building everywhere, you're just not going to be able to see perfect windows. Okay, and then here I'll draw like a circular window. And some smaller ones underneath it. Okay, these are squared windows. So we're almost done. And once again, I'm doing this really quickly. You can do it slower. Maybe some really skinny windows here. Square ones. So it looks like buildings now at nighttime. Now for the gray windows, the gray buildings I should say, the ones that are further away, you can put some windows there, but water down the paint a little bit so they're not so bright looking, because they're further away, so they're not gonna be very bright. And I'm not going to put too many in these ones, only because you really wouldn't be able to see them too much. There. Okay, that's enough. And now one more thing. What else do we need? We need some stars in that sky. So the best way to get stars, and the easiest way, is with the Q-tip that I put in the packet. Or you can use the top of a pencil or the top of a pen. Anything you have. And just dab. See how easy that is? Just like that. So you can put as many or as few as you want. And that's about it.